Pristine beaches, untouched forests, soaring mountain heights. People have always been drawn to the beauty of nature. But could our love for these places be the very thing that's destroying them? With so many people flocking to the same spots, it's no surprise they left more than footprints. And not everyone is doing their part to reduce them. A 2024 study found that while tourists are more eco-conscious, almost 3 out of 4 still don't prioritize sustainability.
Human waste really affects a lot of these ecosystems. It affects nutrient flows. We know it also affects erosion a lot in these areas. And I think another big impact, of course, is like the infrastructure we place into these areas to handle visitors. These sort of fragment the landscape, affect vegetation, affect movement of animals, and even people's presence in these areas.
To keep these places open for tourists, natural ecosystems are being pushed out of balance. Sometimes that's even led to disasters.
We've taken out any sort of like natural fire regime from these areas. These ecosystems are adapted to burn and they need that fire. I think a big part of that, our wanting to suppress these fires, has been for visitation. And that has affected the landscapes because now they're a lot more flammable and they're a lot more vulnerable to more intense, more severe fires.
Local communities have borne the brunt of the damage. As the ancestral lands they rely on degrades, they find their future in jeopardy, and with dwindling control over their own lands and future.
Like gateway communities that are at the forefront of our public lands, a lot of times really do benefit from visitation and also like really rely on it, and that can really increases their vulnerability. They're not super high socioeconomic status, and they certainly don't get to manage these lands that are their lands and that are their sacred sites. A lot of that does have to do with the income that visitation can bring in, and they don't want necessarily like an indigenous community to have a say in any of that.
Bringing local communities into the management of these areas could help protect both the environments and their way of life. Other solutions are also on the table, like working with community groups, setting better limits on visitors, and investing more in protecting the land.
We certainly need more funds for public land management. There's a lot of good examples in Africa of co-management, local communities and indigenous communities, as they know the landscape a lot better. They help managers in understanding these regions and better managing the lands, and in turn, they get to make decisions and they get some of the income that goes back into the community.